it's me. I am back, and I figured I'd come on here and do some multitasking. And I just started working on my hair again. So I know this is kind of unconventional. Y'all see this? Look how thick this is. Look at that. And it's all drawn up. You can even see where, because like I'd say maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, I had like this, I don't know, I had like, oh my God, that tooth that I had to get pulled, it gave me so many problems. And so I had to put some peroxide on my face, and it kept running down to my hair. And you can see where it dyed my hair blonde. But I've got a couple, like maybe 2 or 3 inches of new growth since then. So yeah, and this stuff is thick, so thick that I'm gonna have to divide it in half just so that I can tame it. So I don't know. If a lot of y'all been following me for a while, you guys probably know that I did natural hair vlogs with my old channel. Yeah. So yeah, I've been really, really like taking very good care of my hair here of late, especially. Wow, I need a spray bottle. So we're gonna have a conversation that probably not too many people are gonna jive well with. God dang, y'all look at that. I can't even comb through it, but it's not breaking. It's like it's so amazing. It's not breaking off or anything. And I've been taking like some super vitamins here lately. And yeah. So this is going to be a very, very difficult conversation, but I feel like it needs to be had. Because I am a mother, I'm also a grandmother, and a lot of my clients have children. A lot of you guys, okay? In fact, most of my clients have children, okay? Not all of y'all, but a lot of y'all do. See, I had to tame this area. I can't find my ponytail holder, so I need a spray bottle so I can spray each section with a little bit of water, but that kind of makes it a little too slippery, so I'll just use the rice water. This is what I'm using on this is really all I use, the moisturizing milk. Um as far as like moisturizer now. So I wanted to come and talk about a very, very difficult subject. And what I want to talk about is child sacrifice. So this is going to be a very deep conversation that I want to have with parents about what you have to look out for out there. Okay. Seriously. And one of those things is child sacrifice. And child sacrifice is not just about taking a life. It's not just about that. It can be other things that can be sacrificed. And we're all considered to be children of God, obviously. We're all considered to be children of God, but you have to really, really, really watch out for and be very, very aware through all of the chaos that there are some people, even people that you think you can trust, like your parents, grandparents. I don't, and I'm going to bring up a movie reference just to give you guys an example. There's a movie called Paranormal Activity, one of the best horror movie franchises that I have ever seen. And part three. In part three, the grandmother basically was, well, she had already sacrificed both of her daughters. She actually made a deal with a demon, right? She made a deal with a demon to, I guess, give up her firstborn grandson. And in this deal with this demon, what ended up happening is that the demon ended up killing both sisters and pretty much destroying their lives just to get to this one little boy. And so that may be a movie, right? But believe it or not, it's something that happens that is not talked about. I talk about it because I've actually had to save my own children and remove contracts from them. So that's why I'm able to speak on this. I would die in place of my children. I would rip heaven and hell apart for my babies, period. Because that's my job as a parent. But, I think that awareness is really, really important about this type of thing, because depending on which bloodline you are, there can be contracts. And there are some people that will try to take contracts out on children. I'm talking about this because I am a mother, and I'm going to go before my kids. I can't handle it. Okay. So, even though I have a close enough relationship with my children to where, they just like, I don't even want to think about that. I don't want to think about you being gone ever, and vice versa. Um, People will make deals with demons for your children. And I am extremely cautious and aware of that. Certain messages will come in through spirit, and, and it just, it's one of those things. For example, there can be, sacrifice comes in many forms. For example, if you belong to a church and something happens to where something happens to you within that church, okay, it may have something to do with some kind of spiritual contract. And you have to be aware, and you have to be uh, very, 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 very woke to this, okay? Because it happens. People get all sorts of ideas in their heads, and they think, oh, I can do whatever I want to do. You know, Primarily the dark goddess, believe it or not, protects from that. But they've demonized the dark goddess so much to where they make it seem like it is the dark goddess that's doing it, and it's actually not. And I struggle with this, you know, thinking about it, wondering as far as that is concerned, because, um, for example, when it comes to Lilith, I was watching actually another movie about Lilith. I don't know why I can't think of the name of it. It was, I believe it was on Amazon Prime. And in this movie, oh, it was called Lullaby. Okay. And it was actually a very, very good movie. But once again, in the movie, they were demonizing Lilith. And Lilith, I have worked with her as a goddess, and she completely renounces and denies any activity that involves harming children. She just does not. She's like, that's not true. That's not me. Every single time. And there are many, many, many movies that are made and they use Lilith's name. And she always comes to me and she's like, no, that is a lie. Now, this particular movie that I watched, and for some reason, because I've seen this theme over and over again, usually movies that are made by Jewish people or either about Jewish people. In fact, lullaby, the actual word lullaby, means I guess in Jewish folklore, bye bye Lilith or bye Lilith, okay? So Jewish people apparently believe that Lilith comes in the night and steals their children. Um, mm, she claims, Lilith says, no, I don't. That is not me. That is something else. So, you know, I can honestly say that Lilith has came to me several times and has completely denounced all of that. She's like, that is not true. They are demonizing me. They are blaming me for something else that somebody else is doing. In fact, Lilith doesn't even consider herself to be a demon. She gets very, very insulted when people call her a demon. Okay. So, but anyway, that's not the point of this conversation because, you know, Lilith is not the only, you know, entity or spirit that is considered to be negative or malevolent, okay? Um, and so when it comes to your children, you have to watch out for people that, and see, people will play dumb. They'll say, oh no, I'm in the church. I'm a good little church going person, and I'm not trying to do anything. Listen, when my spirits tell me something, I believe it. I don't go and be in denial about it. If anybody like I'm very, 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 very careful about that. And I watch my children like a freaking hawk. I watch them 24/7. Even when I'm not in the same room with them, I am watching them. This is something that people don't talk about. I decided to talk about it because people are into that. You don't have to do that though. Just that's just like with human sacrifice. Totally unnecessary. People still participate in it. People are still doing that. People are still trying to go to entities and make deals with entities for your children. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean blood sacrifice. Like I said, it could be their energy. They could be an energy sacrifice. Okay. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't want nobody touching my children's energy. I don't want people touching my energy or trying to touch my children's energy. Every parent should feel that way. Okay. And a lot of the times, when you're dealing with certain occult practices, like I said, I don't participate in none of that crap. Very, very, very protective over children. Okay. But when it comes to occult practices, those are one of the things that you have to look out for. Not only that, one other thing that I consider to be child sacrifice would be taking a spirit and putting it into a child. Everybody is born with their own spirit. If you are born into this world and a totally different spirit that wants to live through a child takes over that child's body, that is considered to me to be sacrifice. And see, guys, I am very, very well versed in a lot of different areas, and I'm sure that it's going to expand as far as my knowledge of necromancy. Yeah. So, you know, and people grow and people change, right? They do. Especially when you're bringing up your children, they go through so many different changes. But I think that when you know your child and you know kind of the feelings and the vibrations that you get from your children, if you're feeling a different type of vibration coming from your child, then you would know that something is not right. Okay. You'll know when something is not right. Um, So the thing of it is that you have to be careful out there, especially when you have very religious elders, meaning that some of your very religious elders may believe that your children that are born out of wedlock are bastards and they're worthless anyway. And when you give birth to a child, it doesn't matter if they were born out of wedlock or not. You're still going to love that child and you're still going to feel a responsibility to them. You have to watch out for the signs in your elders. Like, for example, if your elders don't take any kind of interest, care, or concern over your children, if they just don't care about them, that doesn't mean that they're going to sacrifice them. That doesn't mean that. But I think that because I'm a grandmother and my granddaughter is like my child, she gets the same protection as my other children. And so, being a grandparent is a beautiful thing. But then some people don't see it that way. Some people see it differently. It depends on how they feel spiritually. Like, for example, I'm not gonna love my grandbaby any less because she was born out of wedlock. But there are a lot of people with these man-made religious beliefs. Man-made religious beliefs. And they take it and they run with it. And you have to be careful. You do. You have to be careful because there's some people, they look to sacrifice the less desirable for some reason. You would think that they would feel like, hey, if this child is born out of wedlock, that would mean that the person would not make a fitting sacrifice. Okay. But it seems like to me that it doesn't matter. It's almost like a class system. So this is the reason why many, many children slip through the cracks. Literally, they slip through the cracks because people are not well educated on that. And this is the reason why you have to watch certain people spiritually that are into spirit, because there are some people that will decide, oh, those are a couple of kids over there, and they'll start to make up things in their mind, and then they'll say, oh, maybe I'll talk to my entities and sacrifice, do a, sacrificial ritual so that, I can gain $1 million, or just so I can survive. Now, I am an indigo child born in the year 1977. Those beliefs are being trashed completely and totally because it's time. And so I come from a different era than that. I don't even believe in human sacrifice. So I don't do stuff like that, you know, at all. I believe that there's some people that I feel like the world would be a better place if they were not here. But, I feel like I have enough trust in God, and as long as those people are not bothering me and mine, then I'm good. Okay. But you have to look out for that. You have to look out for the signs. People talking about your children. You never know who they talking about your children to. As a witch, I have a total trust level in myself, which is why I only I'm the only one that does spiritual work for my kids. I would never go to somebody, but I am one that you can go to if you feel as though somebody has crossed your child, meaning that they have put some kind of mark on them or have tried to stigmatize them for some kind of stupid sacrifice. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. And so this is, we do live in a world where people are literally that disgusting. And, I try to tell people, you know what I'm saying? Like, it goes very deep when I'm doing these readings. The reason why I'm talking about this publicly is because Spirit wanted me to talk about this and speak about this publicly. Um, and I think it's important for you guys to know, these secret things, these things that are done in secret, things that you don't see, things that people are not going to talk about, could very well affect your child or your children. And you have to look out for the signs. Is your child being bullied in school? Do you have some strange man following your children around? Are people looking at you in a way to, because Spirit will come to you and tell you certain things. They will. Spirit will come to you. Spirit will let you know. I can't think of the worst thing in the world than that. Okay. And these spirits work in various different ways. Okay. And some people um are either unaware of it or they just don't know. Let me tell you the good news. If somebody takes a contract out on your kids, you can break that contract. Break the contract and break them. That's my saying. There are some people that get overzealous when they start to think, oh, I'm God, I have power, I can do this, I can do that. But you know what? There is nothing more powerful than the strength, I don't even want to say of a mother, but of a parent, period, that wants to protect their child. You got some people that are just absolutely disgusting. And they will bring a whole lot of, pain and suffering into your life, and they don't care. Um, as a high priestess that sees a lot, I can sometimes even see these rituals being performed. And, especially during readings, I've seen it being performed and I've warned people about it. And it's usually people that are already concerned about that because maybe they have ran into somebody that they feel as though is unsavory, okay, shady, and they'll call and they'll ask me, because they'll feel like that person has taken like this extra interest, you know, in a child. The divine goddess does not like this behavior, just to let y'all know. It's very, very, very frowned upon, but you got people out there that do crap like that. You got people out there that talk about crap like that. You got people out there that really, really think that they know. But see, what they don't realize is that people are waking up all over the place and seeing crystal clear as to the type of things that they're trying to do. Um, they keep things very chaotic. They will purposely try to create chaos so that you won't be able to see. And you have to clear your space of that so that you are able to see what is being thrown at you and your family. Okay. You have to pay attention. They take out contracts. This is another aspect because people have actually been coming to me, especially on the channel, commenting on the soul and energy harvesting video that I did. And this is one aspect of it. This is one of the aspects that I didn't speak about. Because what I was talking about in that video is when you're already an adult. When you are an adult. And, they have a problem, They have a serious problem with witches. If you notice, witches are consistently being demonized in movies because there are some witches out there that may be unsavory. But one other movie that I can give to y'all as an example would be The Conjuring, right? And you remember the whole story behind Bathsheba, the witch, and a lot of people are very upset about that because they're saying that Bathsheba was not a bad person and that the whole story was made up because Bathsheba is an actual real person. She may have been a witch, but there are a lot of witches that do not participate in things like that. And that includes sexual rituals that involve children. We just don't participate in that. Well, first of all, it's not in our hearts to do it, and it's deemed unnecessary. Okay, a lot of the things in this world have been widely perverted, is what you have to know. But that's another example of it. Um, when in reality, it could be anybody. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't even have to have anything to do with religion. But for the most part, it seems like we see that a lot when it comes to organized religion. Um, and I've had quite a few cases where I've worked with clients that are mothers and their children had like a contract on them. Now, keep in mind, here's what I want you guys to know. I'm not having this conversation to scare you. I am having this conversation to free you from the fear, okay? Um, is why I'm having this conversation to where you do have the power to make sure that your little ones are okay. These particular entities and demons are constantly salivating over children. It's pretty disgusting. One of them is the demon Moloch. The demon Moloch was actually in the Bible. Okay. So you have to be aware of that in particular when you are in the spiritual community. Nobody has the right to, do things, take out contracts on your children just because they don't like you. Break the contract and break the person. This is how I personally feel about it. I don't know about y'all, but anybody that tries to take out contracts of sacrifices on children deserves to die. That's my personal opinion. If you were to try to take out some kind of contract on my children, I would pretty much want you dead. Okay. And so, certain signs that you can see in your children is probably having nightmares, maybe certain behaviors that are not normal in them. Your child being because it's in a gray area. I think that other symptoms, I think that basically just using a form of divination if you are concerned to answer the questions that you need answered as far as what your concerns are about your children. And spirit will let you know that someone has, tried to do something to do harm to your children. Spirit will let you know. Okay. And I'm talking about actual harm. I'm talking about contracts and rituals that are being done, um, that are being done on the sly, on the low, low. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. You would think that people would do something different, but there's a lot of people, they just want to cause a lot of suffering. It's almost like they get off on it. They get off on seeing people hurt. So it could be as simple as that. Some people may be trying to sacrifice you and your family, uh and it don't even have to be somebody from within your family. It can be somebody outside of the family. They may be trying to sacrifice your family for money, for fame, for whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I am of a personal belief, and again, I'm an indigo child, so our belief system was innate in us when we were born. I don't believe that those things are necessary. It's not necessary to sacrifice another. It's not. It's the reality of it. So many people are not used to that yet. And, again, with the class system, oh, your children were born out of wedlock. They're little bastards and da 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 da. You can't say that to an indigo child about any child. Because if you look up indigo children, these were revolutionary children. So I was born in the era of revolution. And things like this are going to have to change. And people that don't want to evolve or change, they're going to have some problems. Because there's a lot of parents out there that can see everything through spirit, and they can see what you're doing, and they are very aware of what other people are up to. And many of them do love their children and will protect them with their lives. That's the way that it is when you are a parent. We got so many different systems and craziness set up around, destroying the human race. I don't feel that any kind of human sacrifice is even native to this planet. I believe that all of it was created by an entity that is inhuman. Please believe that we have planetary threats. I believe in that. I believe in aliens. I believe in, entities that hate human beings. And I believe that they manifest themselves on this planet all the time. I've talked about it. That's just my theory. I don't care what the theory is. All I know is that here's the issue. Here's the issue with that. Here is the issue with people fearing aliens. Alien versus a witch, no dice. An alien can't get past a witch. And I believe that that's why all of that stuff it manifested, because aliens cannot touch witches, especially witches that are on this planet that have a soul, resonance on this planet, okay, or have a connection with Mother Earth. Um, and they just not messing with the witches, and they hate that. And aliens really hate witches, especially, y'all know that dynamic to where animal sacrifice is really, really, really frowned upon, but human sacrifice, that's okay. Now, I personally don't feel that a bunch of animal sacrifice is necessary either. I mean, obviously, animals to us on this planet are food. It just is what it is. But there's a lot of people that don't feel that animals should be food. And I am not of that opinion. I am not vegan. I'm sorry. And I just don't agree with that. And I think that, but, that within itself is to me a concept that isn't really connected to this planet, just like cannibalism is not connected to this planet. It's not, in fact, there was a study done of people that lived in a village that ate each other for years, and those people were born with all kinds of birth defects, and a lot of them died because you can actually get sick eating other human beings. Okay, unless you're some kind of hybrided demon or something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I guess everybody has their own concept or their own idea of what demon seed actually is. Um, so, that can vary and differ. And I think that whether or not you are the sacrificial lamb yourself and you feel very strongly that you are being used as a sacrifice, or if you are a parent to where you're like, why is this being thrown at my child? Why is that? Oh, let me tell you something. They have no power. You have the power of God in your hands. And you have to know that, because there's people out there that are actually that sick to where they, will throw curses at your children. And it's not just a curse. Sometimes it's a literal thing that consumes them. People don't talk about this. People are always talking about things in a sense to where it's adults. But I think that, you know, like this is something that is mainly spoken about privately, but I wanted to present it publicly because this is something that's rarely talked about. And y'all got to understand that I used to have a channel that to where I was an advocate for children's rights, and it created all kinds of enemies for me. And I don't care because, it doesn't matter to me. And you know what? I'm not accepted by certain people. I'm accepted by the people that love me, that respect me, that come to me for help with their issues. That's who loves me. So that's all I need, right? I don't care about being accepted because I wasn't born to be accepted. I was born to stand out. I'm an indigo child. Okay. So if you want to know about indigo children and crystal children, you'd have to go and either read about it or look at a book. Many of us came because I believe not only the year, but the month that I was born, the planet Chiron appeared in 1977. So I believe that that has something to do with the indigo crystal children. If y'all, the planet Chiron did not appear in the sky for us to see it until 1977. Okay. And so, so watch your children, watch them, watch your children spiritually. Of course, you have to take care of yourself to make sure that you're okay to take care of your babies, right? You have to make sure that you're okay, because if you're not okay, then that can create issues for them. But you do have to look to them to make sure that you are protecting them, because people will attack your babies. How do I know this? Because my babies have been under attack for the past 8 years. Why they mess with me, I have no idea. Even if they're not saying anything about them, even if you're not saying anything about them, and it's not even anybody that's saying anything about my children. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about things that are done in secret that I can see. I can see everything that you're doing. And most mothers can. We can see these rituals and rites that you're doing. I can see it. And it's not funny at all, but I will laugh in your face because you're not ever touching my children, ever. And every mother has the right to feel strong and powerful in that sense. The crap that's been going on in this world has went on for generation after generation after generation. And the human race gets sicker and sicker and more mentally and spiritually and physically ill. And the universe is calling for change, straight up and down. And the universe doesn't care about what your opinion of it is. Trust me, the universe does not care. Okay. And, many, many people have prayed for that revolution to come because, that's probably one of the most evil, um, is people that want to hurt and violate children. That's some evil stuff right there, isn't it? Okay. And it's not to say that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not talking about the boogeyman here. We're not talking about the boogeyman that just kind of frightens your children. We're not talking about that. We're talking about um, actual harm that people are trying to do to your babies, and trauma that they're trying to create within your children, and disease that they're trying to create within your children, and people not being alive enough to see and to understand what's going on. Now, if you don't have any children, this conversation probably means nothing to you, you know? But I've seen people that don't have children, those seem to be the ones that want to come after people's kids. I don't know why. And, so just make sure that you understand that if you have little ones, you have to pay attention. 9 times out of 10, if you're a parent and you're under attack, so are your children. Look for the signs. Sometimes the signs aren't even coming from someone that is attacking your children. Sometimes spirit speaks to you about your children in different ways. Okay? The way I take messages through spirit a lot of the times is kind of different. Okay? And I can always tell when somebody's attacking my children. When it's either a witch or a coven that's attacking my children, I can always tell. Do I get scared and worried and sad? No, I just handle my business. Period. You're not getting past this. I'm the fence. I'm the fence. You're not getting past this. It just is what it is. Okay. So that's just what that is. How come ain't nobody hit the thumbs up? Well, y'all don't like this conversation. Where's all the parents at? Because this is one of the main things that people come to me and talk to me about. I get a lot of people concerned about the safety of their children. So I'm shocked. Maybe it's a little late. Maybe y'all parents ain't watching right now. Thank you for the thumbs up. I don't care if I'm bald headed, got a head full of gray hair. I don't care if I look slumped over and look like a hag, or if I look 99 years old. As long as my children are okay, I'm good with all that. Okay? So don't forget to protect them. Okay? And protect yourself too. That's good. Okay? It's okay. And a lot of people, when I came into my powers as a witch, try to discourage me because I have children. But that was what saved my children, because the more knowledge that I gained, the more I was able to protect them. The stronger that I became, the more I was able to protect them. Most parents would give their life for their children. Most of them. Some of them won't though. Some of them is just like, that kid dropped out of high school. I don't care about that kid. Little inside joke that I got. Oh, you were always a disappointment. Okay. So, you have every right to protect your children, and just know that these people are out here doing rituals on your kids. And I'm just like, really? I've seen it over and over again. I've seen it over and over and over again. And it's not on YouTube. I'm not talking about on YouTube. I'm talking about when they have these rituals in their places, in spaces. I can see them and sense it. I can always sense when something is coming at my children. And I always stand right in front of it. In fact, there's certain signs that my body will give me that things are being thrown at my children. And I'm just going to be standing there like a rock. I ain't going to never move for anybody that I love and care about. But I think that kids are different because a lot of people tend to kind of, they don't understand it's like they lose sight of their children, and you got to pay attention and put protection around them. Now, do I believe that Christianity and Jesus Christ protects your children? I do to a certain extent. I just, for me, I have to be doing something. That's just like when I made that Casadilla powder. I got to be doing something. It's like, yeah, because, you see too many, too much stuff happening to people out here these days. That's just like Shanquilla Robinson's mother. I could never be that person. I could never be her mother because I would completely turn catatonic. Because if I didn't check out, I would hurt some people. I would have to check out at that point because then I would become very dangerous if something ever happened to my babies. And so it's something that it's an extra, like I'm very, very extra when it comes to love. I'm very strong in my ability to love people, you know. You haven't heard about which one yet. Well, I just want people to be made aware of the evil in this world. People will put spirits on your children. There are some people that, if your child goes to school with somebody and your child is exceptional, an exceptional student, somebody might put some spirit on your child that's meant to help their child excel above your child because that person is very competitive. And then the next thing you know, your child is having extra problems, okay? And, I don't do crap like that. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? This makes me thinking about something. I've actually had to do work on people that had children. I've had to do work on people that were, pregnant. And I always protect their babies. I don't touch nobody's kids, you know. You'll never ever do that. Mm-mm. If you got to do work on somebody and there's a bun in that oven, you better protect that baby. That's just how I am. I don't care if the child is gonna grow up to be in the antichrist or whatever. I'm still gonna put protection around that baby because I know that I've done my due diligence. Because I've seen pregnant women attack. I've seen pregnant women attack innocent people. Like seriously, like I've seen it all, y'all. I have seen it all. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things, and I wanted to come and talk about it. Yeah, this is a difficult conversation to have because I think that it's something that people don't. I agree, African Soul Star children are off limits, and that's just me. Do I judge people that do stuff like that? No. If you go and search on YouTube, you're gonna find probably close to 20 abortion spells to cause an abortion to somebody. Am I going to go and say, I don't agree with that, I'm going to attack this person? No, that is not my freaking place. It's not. But for me personally, I don't do abortion spells. I don't do stuff like that. Okay? I don't. So that's just me. Yeah, children are definitely off limits, especially when it comes to because and it's a phenomenon that we have known about for years, but most people are not aware of it. And so people will contact me for readings and they'll say, Jamila, I'm concerned about my child. And I'll read the situation. It'd be somebody throwing all kind of stuff at a baby, at a little baby. Like, how can you? There are some people that are like that though, and you know what I'm saying? And it's a trip. Somebody throwing stuff at little babies, and and I'll see it very clearly. Oh yeah, somebody definitely threw something at your child. You know what I'm saying? And okay, so here's another very scary concept that we're seeing. Um, You can actually go and look at that channel, The Misery Machine, of crazy parents, like the parents going crazy and sensing a demon in the child, right? And doing some kind of violent exorcism. There's ways of clearing and protecting your children without doing something crazy like that to them. It's as simple as giving them a bath. That's just how simple it is. Giving them a bath, throw a couple of shakes of salt in there. You don't want to put a whole lot because salt, small children cannot handle too much salt even in their food. Children are not supposed to eat salty food all the time. Um, but anyway, put them in the bathtub, pray over them. Okay, you know, and that's all you got to do. But it's very difficult. For me, what my preference is to do when it comes to a lot of you parents out there is that I'd rather teach you what I know and what has helped me with my own babies, and I let y'all do it, okay? Because there's some of y'all that have a concern about that. You know what I'm saying? Is somebody doing work on my children? And yeah, there's people out there that will do that. Mm-hmm. And so, and yeah, absolutely, you can protect your babies. We hear about so many horror stories, though. I don't know why this braid is so skinny, y'all. I'm having a hard time feeding my hair through it. Yeah, it doesn't want to go through it. So, yeah, man. And it's something like I honestly don't know why my children are under attack because people already know how I am. I don't know why. I don't know why. And I'm talking about spiritual attacks. I'm not talking about nothing else but spiritual attacks, just to let people know. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about when people actually sit down, they take a picture of my kid, and, they're putting chicken guts all over it and feathers and weirdness. And I'm just like, oh, you gonna get it. I done seen all kind of stuff. Blood and people putting, people taking my children's picture and putting menstrual blood on it and pigeon feathers and stuff like that. And and I'm pretty sure that they regretted that one. Okay. I don't know why I have the ability to see rituals in details, but I've had people try to bind my powers before. I'm like, you ain't bind my powers. I've had people try to bind my gifts. I can see that too. Try to bind my spiritual gifts and my powers. I can see that too right when you're doing it. Or even sometimes before you do it. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You know? I'm not talking about if somebody says, well, you need to go and take care of your child and do that. I'm not talking about that. But even that can be a sign that there is spirit may be telling you something. I'm talking about when you can, like when I go into spirit and I can see people doing rituals and I can see them download them printing out pictures of my children. I see all of that. What are you doing? Don't do that. Okay? Mm-hmm. Some people just ain't got much good sense. You know what I'm saying? You don't met and y'all know that saying when your mama love you, if your mama don't love you, ain't nobody else gonna love you. There have been times when I felt unloved, but I don't. I know for a fact that my mother loved me. There have been times when I didn't feel that way, but yeah, try a mother that loves her children and you're going to get a totally different result. You're going to get a totally different result. You may end up, oh, I don't know, messing with people's children. Okay. And I don't mess with people's children. I don't. Not like I'm not gonna sit down and ever do a ritual on people's kids. Never. But there are some people that do. And sometimes a ritual can be as simple as having a glass of wine and writing something down with a sigil. Now, a grown adult, okay, which I don't, you know, I don't know, if I sense some kind of like if I feel like in general, like you're an enemy, like anything goes with that, like seriously. But you know what I'm saying? I know how to handle my interpersonal relationships with people. If I, and it just is what it is. But there are some people that are just very, very, very sneaky and conniving. And they'll do stuff. And I can see all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like crystal clear. And I may even show up at your ritual and set something on fire to give you a sign that I can see you and what you're doing. So anyway, I keep my babies protected. Yeah, I do. And I know it for a fact. And I think that people that threaten, like I'm talking about, like, all I got to say is that we got to do better, witches. That's all I got to say. We got to do better. We got to do better than that because, because, goodness gracious. That's all I'm saying. We got to do better. But I'm trust that a lot of y'all babies are okay. But I've actually um I have quite a few different clients that have had I have a couple of clients that lost their children to the streets. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, if your child is roaming around in the streets, you have to go through drastic measures for that to keep your kids out of the streets and away from danger. See, this don't want to come through this braid, y'all. I don't know what's going on with that. So you in the right place if you want to protect them. I just wanted to make y'all aware. It's very difficult when people don't want to accept the truth. Like when you tell them somebody's like pointing negative energy at your kid, like you better pay attention, right? Pay attention to the signs of people pointing negative energy at your children because they will do it. Yeah, some people will do it just for revenge. And let's face it, haven't we all found out the petty reasons why people want revenge? Half the time, they ain't even like, I'm sorry, excuse me, did I hurt your child? Did I do anything to your child? No, I didn't. I ain't did nothing to your kid. I don't understand what's the revenge for. Y'all, I cannot get this damn thing. Maybe the braid is too fat. I cannot get it to go through there. Let me make it shorter. Yeah. Well, the good part about it is that, kids are not second class citizens. They can be helped just like any other person, just do protection. I have layers of protection. But I think it's very interesting that sometimes you have to watch people in your family. Sometimes you have to watch people in your family. Like I said, go look at that one movie, Paranormal Activity Part 3, where it gets exposed that the grandmother, like that's so stupid. Like, why did that lady do that? But go look at that. And what's crazy is that she sacrificed her firstborn grandson to this entity, this demon or entity. She sacrificed her firstborn grandson. Um, and if you watch it, it's really interesting because at the ending of part one, she does this ritual with her daughters that ended up, having horrible things happen to them and the people around them. In the movie, that happens. And I would, it's repulsive. I would never, ever, ever involve any child in a ritual like that. Like, she literally had gotten her dressed up so that she could basically marry this demon. And I'm just like, no, we don't do stuff like that. Okay? Ever. But there's people out there that do. And I feel that you should be made aware of stuff like that. Even some people in your family. Some people in your family will do something bad to your kids. Okay? Yeah, they are. And being a child of the revolution, a lot of this dirty, dirty, dark stuff that happens, a lot of it, we can easily, we don't need it. Like that, to me, that's unnecessary. Like, how is this even necessary? You know? So I don't know. I was born with really good spirits around me. And I just never would ever take to anything like that. And yeah, yeah, you right, Ben Griffin, you right. So just be careful out there, man. When spirit gives you a message about your children, pay attention to what's happening. I personally think that a lot of it is unnecessary. I feel like we have a lot of unnecessary suffering in this world. Just horrible, horrible, unnecessary suffering. It doesn't make me have a love-hate relationship with witchcraft or even the occult, because my brand of witchcraft completely and totally denounces any of that. Okay. And that includes soul harvesting, energy harvesting of adults too, which I'm not going to really get into that too much. Look at what happened to my braid, y'all. Look at what I did. I don't know how I did that. How am I going to fix it? How am I going to fix this? Where's my rat tail comb? I'm going to try to fix it. Somehow it done spooled up in there. Be all right. It's in the back. You ain't gonna see it. So yeah, anyway, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Um I definitely have a love-hate relationship with religion because of that. That's the one thing about the Bible that I have a problem with is the whole dashing the kids with rocks. That, yeah, no. My spirit guides don't conform to that. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So there's a better way, you know. No. I don't want to dash anybody's children with rocks, which it's all of that is what do you call that? All of that is it's not meant to be taken literal, supposedly, in the way that it's described, but so many people do take it literal. Oh, that one went through real easy. I wonder. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope y'all enjoyed that Casadilla powder video that I did. If you haven't caught it, I uploaded it a few hours ago. I'm going to sit here and work on this hair. And so I'm going to go. Okay. All right. I will see you guys later. Okay. Bless, and blessings to all your children too. I'm serious about protecting people's children. I am. I'm serious about that. And of course, my own. Y'all already know I protect my own babies for real. Like, because. And I don't know. I think that it's better to know than not know, right? It's better to know than not know. It's better to be aware than unaware. So, yeah, I will see y'all later. Y'all have a good evening. I'm going to sit here and finish this hair. All right. Bye-bye. Blessings. Love and light to you too, African Soul Star. I'll see y'all later.